They've put the currency board in the casket, and they've lowered it into the grave. Once you get in the eurozone, you've got a Hotel California problem. You can check in, but you can't check out. The political class in general are arrogant, incompetent, corrupt, and disconnected from the Bulgarian public.
Do you think we are an independent country?
No, Bulgaria is a vassal state.
Hello, Professor Hanke. How are you? Where are you?
Martin, good to see you. I'm in Baltimore.
What next for Bulgaria after joining the Eurozone? Your prediction.
So, Martin, I'm a pretty busy guy. I'm dealing with heads of state, central bankers, ministers of finance, that kind of thing, all around the world every day. And you think I'm going to be wasting my time doing sharp pencil work and studying Bulgaria? What's going to happen next? No. I just don't have time, and I was never asked to do it when the time was right. The time was right before the decision was made. There's been no experts outside report about changing from the currency board in the left to the euro. Nothing exists. So this is a typical Bulgarian political move. It's just totally political. It's a non-technical thing. And there's the dessert for you.
Maybe you don't want to take the risk to predict something. Maybe it's very difficult.
I would say this. I left my crystal ball in the closet today. I'm a very precise person that likes to use a sharp pencil. Yeah. And I don't like to put my finger in the wind and say, oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and so forth. That's the kind of sloppy thing. That's the kind of talk you have in Sofia, the politicians. That's the way they talk. You ask them, they will tell you what's going to happen. Or the economists in Bulgaria. The economists know everything. So you ask them. The economics troops in Bulgaria will predict anything.
Ако търсиш истината, тя не е в телевизора. Patreon. Показвам това, което мейнстримът крие. Без пропаганда, без филтър, без манипулация. Интервюта на живо. Задаваш въпроси, предлагаш теми, предлагаш гости, участваш. Питаме това, което другите не смеят. Каним гостите, които другите забраняват. Защото вие ни пазите гърба. Днес независимата ни работа е възможна, защото имаме вашата подкрепа. Действай, абонирай се за Patreon канала на Карбовски. Истината има нужда от съучастник, като теб. Is this the end of the currency board?
Well, let me put it this way. I think with the recent decisions about the currency board, they've put the currency board in the casket, and they've lowered it into the grave. But they still haven't thrown the dirt on top of it. Mm-hmm. So it's not 100% yet. Things can happen. Let's go through a scenario now, thinking about this. What if the government falls in Bulgaria? Maybe that would be the thing to do. And I think the decision is so bad that they should have a no confidence vote and the government should fall. If I was in Bulgaria, that's what I'd be trying to do. You have to hold these politicians accountable. They've made a stupid decision and they've ignored the public, and I think they should be held accountable. So either the government falls, that's one scenario. The other is that the dirt gets thrown into the burial pit and the coffin it's finished. Then what I would do, if I was a Bulgarian citizen and was voting, I would vote against everyone who voted for the euro. No matter who they were, no matter what party, you throw all of them out, get rid of them. And the reason I say that, Martin, is that we have to step back again and set the table. What's Bulgaria done? It's given up the best post-communist institution that's been established in Bulgaria for nothing, for no benefits, and they've given up a huge cost. They've given up their optionality. That is, once you get in the Eurozone, you've got a Hotel California problem. You can check in, but you can't check out. So it's a stupid decision from a technical point of view, and from a political point of view, it's even worse, because the Bulgarian public, in every survey that's ever been done, the majority of the Bulgarian public, they do not want the euro. They want to keep the lev.
Are you sure there is no way out from this situation?
No, once you enter, it's over. The only, and that of course is the beauty of the currency board, because you can change the anchor to the currency board from the euro to the dollar to gold to anything under the sun. If something goes wrong with the current anchor, which happens to be the euro, let's say the euro blows up and there's a crisis, and you could change. If you had your currency board, you can change the anchor to the dollar or something else. But so this is the optionality. This is the currency board gives you another way to put this in simple language is it's like an insurance policy. It's insurance that you can change if things go terribly bad with the euro, you can change. And once you're in the euro, if things go very bad, you're in Hotel California. You can't change. You're trapped. So we end up with a situation where we have to look at the political class and do an analysis of the political class. And I would say my observations, and I have made many observations in Bulgaria, by the way, the political class in general, not all politicians, but a big chunk, and the chunk that made this decision and is leading the way to the euro, are arrogant, incompetent, corrupt, and disconnected from the Bulgarian public. Now, the Bulgarian public, of course, the public knows the politicians are arrogant, so I don't have to worry about that. The Bulgarians know the politicians are corrupt. We don't have to get into that. And the Bulgarian public knows that the politicians are disconnected with them, from them, and they don't represent them. The public doesn't want the euro, but the politicians do want the euro.
We have one more problem. The politicians here are not independent. Do you think we are an independent country?
No, Bulgaria is a vassal state. All major decisions are either made by the United States or in Brussels. Either Washington or Brussels are playing the tune, and the Bulgarian politicians just march behind in the parade. But if there's a telephone call from Washington about something, I can tell you that the parliament will change their vote in 10 seconds. If the parliament's going to vote yes, and Washington, it's a big vote, and Washington wants them to vote no, and they have a recess in the parliament, and they get their telephone with Washington or the embassy calling, they will change the vote.
Yeah.
No question about it. And so we have outside influence from state actors, but we have inside corruption because there are puppeteers in Bulgaria who play with the puppets,
puppet masters,
and play and control the media. The media, of course, is totally corrupt. It's controlled even more tightly than the politicians by the insiders. So let me talk about the incompetence, just to make my point. I think, obviously, this decision to go into the euro displays a great deal of incompetence. And one thing, they don't even want to know what outside experts might think. Because we offered, and it was a wall of silence, nothing. Now, let me give you another thing that's happened and people can remember. Since the COVID pandemic hit in February of 2020, it turns out that I know something about currency boards, as you know, but I know something about other things too. I'm holding up a book here. This book was published in 2023 in London by the Institute for Economic Affairs. It's online, it's free. Anyone can get it and read it.
Yeah.
The title is, Did Lockdowns Work? Lockdowns meaning everything associated with the government intervention to deal with COVID. Now, what happened in Bulgaria? Well, first, before Bulgaria, what did we find? We found that lockdowns did not work. And we did a meta-analysis. We started with over 22,000 studies that had been done and reviewed everything with this meta-analysis. And our conclusion was that in Europe itself, the lockdowns only saved from about 15,000 lives. So the lockdowns had a very tiny effect. They were ineffective from a health point of view. And to put that into context, about 72,000 people die every year of the flu, ordinary flu in Europe. So the lockdowns, only COVID lockdown policies saved about 15,000 lives in Europe, and 72,000 people normally die from the flu. Now, let's jump to Bulgaria. Bulgaria, adjusting for age, the age of people and so forth, if you look at all the studies that were done of the excess deaths associated with COVID, Bulgaria was the worst country by far. Now, what's that mean? That gets back to my point about incompetence of the politicians. The total incompetence is in the picture. What on all these big policies, COVID lockdown, that was big in Bulgaria. A lot of people died in Bulgaria. We're talking about life and death. They did a bad job, a disastrous job. Now they have done what I think is another big disastrous job, and that's switching from the currency board and the lev into the euro.
I brought you to Eurozone. I quote Boyko Borisov, the leader of the biggest party in Bulgaria.
It's smoke and mirrors. This is typical Bulgarian ignorance. I mean, Borisov really doesn't know what he's talking about, but this isn't the first stupidity he's uttered in his life, by the way.
Yes, I cannot explain this stupidity.
Well, Now this is very hard to predict what's going to happen, by the way, because in Bulgaria, you've got the politicians have their fingers on things, so we don't know what they're going to do.
Okay, but the worst scenario. Say me the worst scenario.
One scenario that would be bad is if the politicians entered into a lot of price controls.
They want this. They say this now, yesterday.
I know. That would be bad. It's an invitation, a tempting invitation for politicians in Bulgaria to get their fingers in things. They always want the excuse in Bulgaria to get their fingers in things, because the politicians, they tell everyone they know better. The rough scenario is the political class in Bulgaria, which doesn't really represent the Bulgarian people. They look above and they look over the population, and they tell them, not in these words, but they in effect are saying, "You're stupid, we're smart."
Yeah, hubris.
That's the game in Bulgaria, and since we're smart and you're stupid, you have to give us power.
Okay, it's enough for Bulgaria. What's happening in the United States?
Not much good is happening. I think that I think we're in dark days.
Oh,
start with number one. Of course, the stupidest thing the president Trump has done. He's a tariff man. He likes tariffs. He wants to put tariffs on everybody. So you're going to have tariffs, by the way, for exports of Bulgarian things into the United States as a member of the EU. They haven't settled on exactly what this is going to be. But Bulgarian wine now, good wine, it's going to be taxed. There'll be a tariff. Tariffs are taxes. Tariffs are bad for a lot of reasons, but they're bad because they're imposing an unnecessary tax. The tax should be zero. If Martin and Steve want to exchange something, we should be free to do it, because if Martin wants to sell Steve something, Martin benefits or he wouldn't sell it, and Steve benefits or he wouldn't buy it. So why does the government come in between Martin and Steve and put a tax wedge between them? This is bad economics. So that's one thing. Then we just passed what they call in the United States the big beautiful bill, a big beautiful huge spending bill, expansion of government, more government spending, a bigger deficit, more debt. It's a terrible bill. So that's another thing. Then you look at what the foreign policy is. Well, the U.S. is still financing the war in Ukraine and financing the war in Gaza and Syria and Iran, other places. So from A to Z, it's dark, not light. It's, by the way, coming to the big beautiful bill and the deficit. That's one reason that the politicians want to go into the eurozone, because the currency board does put a straitjacket on Bulgarian politicians, and that's why the budget is, no matter what government, it's been more or less controlled. Maybe it isn't perfect, but it's one of the most controlled budgets in all of Europe. And the politicians don't like the straitjacket of the currency board. That's what they won't really tell the Bulgarian public the truth about. The truth is they think they're going to get that straitjacket removed and they'll be able to spend more money, go into debt more, create more fiscal deficits and things like that. That's the secret behind the whole thing.
And let's talk about militarization. Europe want to take 800 billion euro for military, for weapons. Is it serious?
This is going to bankrupt Europe. Europe's already in the tank. Europe is not growing. The economies are really in bad shape, and the defense spending is going to force them into bankruptcy.
Yeah.
It'll be very difficult. They're going to have more debt, higher interest rates, and there's nothing more wasteful in military spending, because if you buy a tank or an airplane, it doesn't produce anything. It's not like investing in a factory that produces something that people can use. It's just dead. So all the money going into the defense, it's just money in a rat hole. Uh-huh. They say they're committed to it, and it looks like Europe now is turning into not only a welfare state, but a warfare state. In France, by the way, right now, they're the top. 57% of GDP, gross domestic product, is spent by the government. 57%. That is the highest in Europe. But they're all going in that direction. Bigger governments, more state control, elimination of liberty of all kinds, personal liberty and economic freedom.
It's like new communism.
Yes. They don't call it that. They've changed it. Just 1 minute. Let me show you something. I'm in my study at home.
Yeah.
Let me show you something that I require all my students to read.
Oh, Communist Manifesto. Marx and Engels. Yeah, I know this book. We learned this book in school.
And I have them read it for two reasons. One, it's the most brilliant manifesto in the history of man.
Yeah.
Number one, it's very, very well written and argued and so forth. Two, of course, I disagree with everything in it.
Yeah.
So I have them read it for two reasons. But it's a very effective manifesto. Now, if you read this is what's going on in Europe. The welfare state, it's all in here. Everything.
Yes. I understand.
And they just don't call it that. They just change the name. They change the label.
But we was in communism, and we are not very satisfied from this situation.
When you say we, Steve and Martin aren't very satisfied with this situation.
Not you, just me.
So, but there are a lot of other people that aren't. Now, where we're going, by the way, what's going on in Europe? Let's stand back and look at what's happening. And this is happening in Bulgaria too, obviously. Bulgaria being part of Europe. And geographically, by the way, Bulgaria is much more important than most people think. Most people don't really understand.
Yeah.
Number one, most people don't even know where Bulgaria is. They don't even know that Bulgaria once was an empire, a big empire.
Yeah.
And its location. They don't know where it is on the map, and they don't know why it's so valuable geopolitically. And now let's talk about what's going on. What's going on with the warfare state.
Ако търсиш истината, тя не е в телевизора. Patreon. Показвам това, което мейнстримът крие. Без пропаганда, без филтър, без манипулация. Интервюта на живо. Задаваш въпроси, предлагаш теми, предлагаш гости, участваш. Питаме това, което другите не смеят. Каним гостите, които другите забраняват, защото вие ни пазите гърба. Днес независимата ни работа е възможна, защото имаме вашата подкрепа. Действай, абонирай се за Patreon канала на Карбовски. Истината има нужда от съучастник, като теб. Our government buys something from you, buy rockets, buy some missiles, and we understand for this from your media. Why we buy this? What they prepare?
We talked about this before because you're told to buy them. Martin, the vassal, a well-behaved vassal does what the vassal is told. And the orders come from what we call the White House. We call it democracy, and we're spreading democracy, you see. But what it really is all about is expanding the empire.